because I have to use this microphone. So if I wander off, y'all tell me. My name is Stacy Elliott. I'm a lead advisor in the support operations for academic retention, or SOAR. But my office is actually inside the Learning Center. How many of you have been to the Learning Center or the Tutoring Center or somewhere down by PADR, TSI, kind of know where we are? Yay! We are in the basement of Holden Hall. There's a big study lounge right outside our entrance. We have Wi-Fi access. It's a great place to study. If you come into the Learning Center, there's no fee, there's no appointment, you can just come. You need some help with a math problem, or I want someone to proofread my English paper, or here's my review sheet for poli-sci, would you drill me over this and make sure I'm ready to go for the exam? You can use the Learning Center however you need to use that to help you do well in your classes.
Okay.
Who didn't get a handout, raise your hand.
It should be.
There are multiple handouts, so there is the mentor calendar, there's a making the grade sheet, and then there is a planner or a calendar like this. So if you did not get a planner or a calendar that looks like this white sheet of paper, raise your hand so I can bring them up. Here you go. Thank you.
What I do is I work inside the Learning Center. Oh, let me tell you, the tutoring hours are from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. So there's no excuse for you to not come and get tutoring in any subject that you might want help with. It's also just a really great place if you just want a place to study and get it online and work on the computer or something. And if you're around Holden Hall, it's handy, right? You can also do group study. We have whiteboards and things like that. You can bring your pizza and have group study and use the whiteboards. And if you have 2 or 3 of you that are in a class and you want help, then 2 or 3 of you can come and one tutor can just work with a small group. So it works that way too. We're really easy to use. What I do is I work one-on-one with students who want to improve or enhance their study skills or their progress here at Tech. Sometimes when we make that transition in from high school into higher education, it's like I'm doing everything I know that I'm supposed to do. I'm doing all the right stuff, but this class is really, I'm just not doing well in this class. Then come and talk to me about that. Or if it just feels like I work really hard on Sunday for this class because I get behind, and then I fall behind in this class, and so then I have to work. That's where I can come in. That's how I can help. So you can email me, I think it's on that sheet of paper, or Cabby can show you how to access an appointment with me through Grades First, through the appointments.ttu site. Any questions for me about the Learning Center or about what I do? Great, okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Wakeland. I am currently a sophomore here at Texas Tech. I'm studying nutrition and dietetics, and I'm also a student assistant at the Learning Center. So what I do is I get to go to classrooms and give presentations about all the awesome resources that the Learning Center has. And I know as a student that the Learning Center is really great to go to study. I've been there multiple times to study for tutoring, and honestly, every time that I'm there I meet someone new who's also studying, so that's really awesome. And I also know that working at the Learning Center, everyone's really friendly and they're all there to help you, so I really recommend that you utilize that service because you are paying for it already through your tuition and fees. And so now it's totally like free for you guys to use.
Jessica and I are going to kind of tag team with each other. As Cabby said, what we're gonna do is just try to kind of, this is the beginning of the semester, just try to kind of refresh some of the tricks of the trade, if you will. I don't know how else to say that. Usually when I work with students, I talk to them about this is a different game. When you were in public school, the whole system was set up one way. It's kind of like, we trained you to play soccer, and then you come to the university and all of a sudden we want you to play hockey. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't know how to do this, you know? What I'm working, but y'all keep saying, no, that's not good enough, and so now I don't know how to do this other thing. I'm gonna shortcut this for you. Okay, we're going to do like Reader's Digest, College Success 4.0 in 30 seconds, right? Okay, the very first thing when I have students in my office that I work with them on is establishing an energy frame around your day. You've got in your handout a weekly planner. Just look at that. Just open it up and just look at it. You don't have to do anything with it. It's in the white stapled stuff. I think it's probably in the middle. Where we begin when I'm working with a student is we start by plugging in their class schedule, because that stays consistent for the whole semester. Your classes don't rotate around or move around. So from your class schedule, what we do is we look at what time you should wake up. So stop and think right now. What's the earliest time you wake up each week? Okay? Sometimes like you have this one 8 o'clock class on Thursday morning, right? So what time do you wake up for that earliest class? That should be your wake up time for the whole week. Think back. How did you do in public school, right? They set it up that you started the day at the same time every day. When you fluctuate your sleep habits, when you say, oh man, I can stay up late tonight because I can sleep late tomorrow because I have a late class, and you start doing this kind of thing with your sleep habits, here's what happens. Your biology thinks you're crazy. Right? This idiot could stay up till 2. I'm just going to chill. And so then you're sitting in class and you're going. You go to the library because you're supposed to go to the library, right? And you get your book out and you read about 3 pages and you go, so, this is so boring, I'm not getting it. The number one problem is your sleep habits. If you don't get that squared away, nothing else matters, because this is not studying. You got it? If you're fluctuating the time you wake up from day to day, and you fluctuate the time you go to sleep from night to night, you are dead man walking. Can't fix it. I would really encourage you to start there and figure out, I want to wake up the same time every day and I want to go to sleep at the same time every night. When you do that, your body will get in shape for that, just like it used to do when you were in school. How many of you have worked and you went to school to work like at 6:30 in the morning? Anybody had to do that kind of shit? What happens to your biology after a while? It gets used to 6:30, right? So after about 4 or 5 mornings of 6:30, the alarm goes off and you get up and go. Unless you stayed up till 5. Yeah. Yeah, if you stayed up late, you're just in trouble elevator. Okay, so start with your energy cycle. Jessica, any ideas from you?
Yeah, Yeah, getting enough sleep each night, it's really
They move.
important. I know it says 8 hours up here, but honestly, I can sleep for 10 hours a night. I know some people out there are probably thinking the same thing. So if you, use your schedule, actually utilize your schedule, and go to bed at the same time, you can definitely get 10 hours of sleep each night if you want. I mean, I'm sure we've all been to class where, maybe we pulled an all-nighter the night before because we had a big test, and then you're sitting through the test thinking, well, when can I get out of here and go sleep? That's not good. So definitely use your schedule. Think about when you need to get up, and then, if you get up at the same time every day, even though you might have one 8 a.m. class and have to get up at 7 for the whole week, your body's going to get used to it after a while.
And the neat thing is, if you're waking up at 7 and then you're ready to go at 8 o'clock, you get up, you eat breakfast, you're out the door at 8 o'clock, you can actually start your study time there. I had a student today that wakes up at 5:30 because he works out with the Marines. I didn't even know we had Marines, but there you go. He works out with the Marines. And so we were talking, and I said, he wakes up every morning at 5:30, and I said, then what do you do? And he said, well, then I go home and I eat, and I just, chill until my class at 10. And I said, why don't you go to the library and study from 8 to 10? And you would have thought that I had told him the lottery numbers. He was like, wow. I mean, honestly, it took him a minute. He had to process that. And so then when we worked it out, and I said, you got to put in 4 hours of study a day, or 4.5 or whatever. And I showed him that if he started at 8, he was through with school by like 3:30 or 4 o'clock every day. Now, this guy had to go to bed at 9 because he got up at 5:30. But he was through with school at 3:30 or 4. He couldn't believe it. He was like, wow, what do I do after 4? And I said, whatever you want until 9. I mean, because you've been in school 12 years, right? What did we teach you to do in public school? Study at night, right? When you are through with everything else, yes, go home and do your homework. Y'all are smart. Does that make sense to you? At the end of the day, when you've had all the fun and you've been in class all day and you got to Mr. Tech and you went to the rec center and you hung out with your friends and then you go home at 11 and now you're going to study chemistry? Yeah, no. I don't even know how to spell it at that time of night. Okay. You got the idea? Any questions? Really and truly, stop and think. Don't do it the way we taught you to do it in public school. It doesn't work here. Change the way you think. Okay. Here's another catch. Look at your schedule, and you need to spend 45 minutes every single day, Saturday and Sunday included, every single day, 45 minutes for each class. Now come on, that is not hard, right? 45 minutes every subject, every day. If you got 4 subjects, how long is that? 3 hours. If you've got a math class or a science class or a foreign language, then you have to do 2 45s for those every day. Okay? So that's good for you to know, because you know what? When you go to meet with your advisor and plan your schedule, you need to think in your head. If I take a chemistry, and then I take a math analysis, and then I take physics, that's an hour and a half each day for each one. Do you really want to do that?
Okay.
Any engineering in here? Okay. Okay, engineering students spend 6 hours every single day studying.
You're
If you
joking.
don't, you don't get to be an engineering student very long.
Well,
Pre-med, any pre-meds, pre-health science? Natalie? Natalie and I have been friends for a long time. How many hours a day?
4.5.
4.5. She's through all of her sciences this semester, right? What was it last semester?
7. Like 6.5.
Yeah, she's been at 6 to 7 hours every day, 7 days a week for 3 years?
Yeah.
Pre-med, what's your GPA? I know, so I'm gonna make her embarrassed. 3.8? 3.85? Don't let her. But she's gonna go to pre-med. She will get in. So it's going to take the study effort. Remember, guys, going to class is only 1/3 of your job. 2/3 is what you do to teach yourself the material. 2/3 of your time is outside of class. Okay? Does that help give you an idea about kind of how to do that thing? 45 minutes, every subject, every day.
camera.
Okay, so, have you ever heard that if you can teach someone this subject you're learning, then you really know it? Because honestly, it's true. You need to break your reading into like 5 to 10 page sections, because any more than that, you're probably not going to want to do it, and you just have to get through it. So let's try to make studying as easy as possible. You need to reread it so it'll actually click. And then you need to outline, make more notes on it, and then turn it over and see if you can teach yourself that. And then once you have that, if you can start like teaching the next person that, then you know you've really got it.
One of the things that's interesting is when you read something the first time, your eyes go over the words, but your brain only gets a preview. Have you ever read something and then somebody would say, well, what was that about? And you go, I don't know, somebody burned somebody, I don't know. That's the way our brain works. It's like going to a movie and you're watching a preview of something and you walk out and go, oh, that show is going to be so funny. When that comes out, I'm going to go see it. And somebody will say, well, who's in it? I don't know. Well, what's it about? Well, I don't know. I just saw the previews, right? That's exactly the way your brain does when you read. It only picks up few words and creates pictures in your brain. When you reread it, that is a university skill. Take those 5 pages and just reread them. When you do that, your brain will automatically connect the pictures. Isn't that cool? It's like, then you get this like video of what you were reading. You go, oh, that's really cool. Oh, I see the story. But it takes the second reading in these textbooks. The textbooks you have are like 16 to 25th grade level. Most of us read at 10. I mean, that's not a personal slam, but most of us read at about 10 to 11th grade level. These university textbooks are at 16 to 25. You must reread it if you want your brain to create the videos. Real cool. Then go back through, as Jessica said, and then create your notes. Guys, if you are going to college thinking that your professors are going to teach you, you are dead man walking. They are not teachers. They did not go take education major. They got a PhD, which means like 8 years of nothing but class of math. They're weird people. But you understand that? They don't know how to teach you. If you're struggling, they don't know how to help you do that. You gotta teach you. You don't have a teacher here. Make sense? If you're not teaching yourself this material, that's the good news, because most of y'all are a better teacher at teaching you than anybody else is good at teaching you. You know how to do it. Go teach yourself and do an awesome job at it. It'll be amazing how well you'll do it though. During the lecture, you should go into every single lecture already knowing the material. You know, guys, if all you're doing is taking notes and walking out and memorizing your notes, you are back in high school. And I'll guarantee you that professor is not going to have a test that will match what you've memorized. I hear that all day long. I went over my notes. I knew that material. I went and made flashcards. I knew it. And then I went in there and I read that test. He asked us stuff he hadn't even gone over in lecture. It was stuff that wasn't even in the book. Anybody? Do I have an amen on that one?
Amen, amen.
You've been there, you've done that?
Damn right.
That is the first clue to you that you have a big gap in between what you're doing and what they're asking. So to fill in that gap, you gotta do it. Sorry. I have students that say, I didn't do very well because that professor wasn't very good last semester. I train my students that the professor doesn't have any influence in your progress at all. Why are they bothering you? So they talk about, who cares? They're not there to teach you anyway. What are you doing to take the professor out of the equation? It's not their job, it's your job
Yeah, bud.
to teach yourself this material.
Hang on, get something solid.
Make
Watch this.
sense?
If she move it.
If you go to lecture and you've already read the chapter, I already know the chapter, I could already talk and teach this chapter. I already got my notes. I already have the test review. I did it myself. Then you go into lecture and all you gotta do is get the test. Isn't that what lecture is? The professor is telling you in chapter 3, this is what I think is important. Isn't that what lecture is? If you're smart, you're going to lecture and you already know the material. You've already got the notes. Stop writing the PowerPoint down. Who told you to do that? Go copy the PowerPoint. Are you kidding? The PowerPoint is the least of your issues. He's giving you the test review. He or she is telling you what they're going to put on the test, and you're over there totally tuning them out. You're copying the PowerPoint. Make sure you write those words down. Forget the test review. You follow me? They're giving you the test. You ought to be like Sherlock Holmes. You all be up in that business. You know, I'm going to get that test. And you watch, and you listen, and you highlight, and you don't let them get by with one thing. You get every test question before you leave lecture. Does that make sense to you? You've been in school. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? If you do that, all studying for a class comes before the lecture. Your job as a student is to learn the material so well that you can teach every lecture you go to. When you don't, you should know that you don't. So now you know that you're falling behind in the class. Don't wait for the first test. Here's what happens. Students go take the first test, they don't do very well, and they go, oh wow, man, I better start studying for that class. Do you think? But then they just do more badly. Right? Because I'm not doing anything different, I'm just going to do more of it. Then what happens? Here comes the second test. What do you think they do? Maybe a little bit better. Maybe now we got a D. So now we got an F and a D. You can't get there from here. Right? You got a D minus. You can't pass this class. A test grade should never be the thing that tells you whether you're learning the material or studying a class well or doing well. And that's the thing freshmen will say, well, I don't know, I haven't had a test yet. And I just go, oh no, we're in trouble. Because I know what the first test grade's going to look like. Don't you? Right? Okay. I'll let you take this one.
So, Stacy was saying you need to read the book twice so you're seeing that information, and then you're taking that and writing that in your notes, and then you're taking those notes and going to class. So you're seeing this information a lot, and think how much better that's going to be. That's you studying in itself instead of having to cram the night before. And then once you've done all that, after the lecture, you'll review it again, and that's even more studying. So you guys really need to review. You can't just show up to class and take notes and that's it. You guys really need to prepare beforehand, pay attention during, and review after.
Did you know that if you review your lecture notes within the first 24 hours after you went to lecture, do you know that you have an 80% recall rate? That's a big deal. This handout that you have says what is study. There's all kinds of little tips and tricks in there, front and back. So, look at that, read through that, see if there's things in there that can help you teach yourself better. The next thing I want to talk about is test taking. How many of you have ever experienced test anxiety? Like where you go in and you just totally go blank, and then you walk out of the door and you're not 30 seconds out of the door and you go, oh, crap, I know that answer. Anybody had that happen? Okay. Number one is probably you tried to memorize the information instead of teaching yourself the information, right? It's hard to recall data sometimes. But I'll bet you if I said, tell me the story, if you really knew how to tell me the story, you wouldn't have had any trouble on that test. So change your target. What are you doing when you study? You're preparing the lecture, right? Know the material so that you can talk about it in your words. When you go into the test, by the way, you should never, ever, ever take a test if you have not been up for longer than an hour. And that's probably most significant during final exams. Okay? Your brain needs 1 hour to wake up and to be able to actually produce information for you. So give yourself an hour before you are expected to take a test. When you get there, the first thing I want you to do is to skim through the entire test. And I know that sounds like one of those teacher things that you roll your eyes like reread the chapter. Go, I ain't doing that. I know, I was there. Skim the entire test. You don't have to read it, but just look over it with your eyeballs, because what will happen is your eyeballs will see words that your brain goes, oh, I know that one. Oh, I saw that before. Now we got your brain working with Now your brain knows where you filed that stuff. So it's busy trying to find the file drawer and the file folder of algebra. Okay, skim the whole test. It will help your brain do the work for you. Read and reread every question. We have a professor here on tech that is probably the best at giving tests. And here's the trick I tell his students. Cover up the answers, because that's where the teachers trick you, is in the answers. It's not in the question, it's in the answers. So if you cover up the answers, and you read the question once, and then you go back and reread that same question, but do it in pieces, da-dum, 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 and give your brain time to go file that, get that folder, right? Da-dum, 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 and your brain goes, oh, I know what it is. Da-dum, da-dum. Okay, now you got the question. Now, answer it. You answer it. Don't look at the choices. That's where teachers trick you. Because they can't give you a misleading question, right? But they can give you misleading answers. Don't look at the answers. Answer it in your head. Then look at the answers and find the answer that your brain knows. Neat, huh? Test anxiety is nothing more than what you say to yourself about your ability to take this test. You go all the way across campus. Oh my gosh, man, I hope I studied enough, you know. Ooh, this is going to be a hard test. If I don't do good on this test, I'm not going to do good in this class. If I fail this course, my parents are going to kill me. You're walking all the way across campus talking like that to yourself, right? It's going to be hard. It covers a lot. Man, I didn't study. Blah, blah, blah. And your brain is going, oh my God, this is getting scary. And you walk in and you sit down and they put the test in front of you and your brain says, man, this is the, an axe murderer coming after me. I'm out of here. Your brain leaves the building. It's like, I'm not getting killed. So then you're sitting there because you created this snake on your desk and your brain is leaving. It's gone. What else do you expect? When somebody comes up to you and is going to mug you in the street, what do you think your body needs to do? Anybody got an idea? Any AMP people in here? Anybody ever heard of fight or flight? What happens biologically during fight or flight? Do you know?
Adrenaline.
Mamas lift cars off babies, right? Adrenaline gets in there. Oh my gosh. I'm either going to kill you or run faster than you. I'm not sure which. Your body shoots adrenaline. It needs muscles, arms and legs. It needs heart. It needs breathing. So you can run and free yourself and save yourself, right? The problem is you're sitting in a desk. So you got adrenaline, sweaty hands, stress in my neck, I've got a headache, anybody get sick to their stomach? Yeah, because like that hamburger doesn't need to be digested right now, I'm out of here. Guess what shuts down when you are in danger?
Your brain.
Your brain does not need to think about how to run. So the blood vessels to your brain go, whoop, out. That's why you go blank. That's why you get headaches. That's why you can't remember. You created the rattlesnake. It's just a piece of paper with ink on it. Right? You make it bad. Stop. All a test is an opportunity for you to show your professor what you have learned in that course. Stop. It is not a value system around here. We're not gonna flush you if you don't make good grades on the exams. Worst that could happen is you gotta take the class again, dang. That's the worst. But your arms and legs aren't gonna fall off. Okay, so stop making it that way. The last thing I'm going to tell you is to use the resources that are here. Texas Tech University wants you to be here. They want you to be successful in school. There's tons of stuff here to help you. Mentor Tech, your mentors, the library, me, free tutoring, 8 in the morning till 8 at night. You can't get better than that. You got professors, most of which would love to see you come in when you have a question. Use your resources, guys. If you were a business owner and somebody was coming in and telling you that you needed to pay your business taxes, would you not be calling a CPA and saying, I don't know what they're talking about? If somebody was going to sue your business, would you call a lawyer? When you get sick, do you go to a doctor? Why will you not use the resources that are here to help you? You are not supposed to know the classes that you are taking. It's supposed to be new, right? If you already knew all this stuff, we'd give you a CLEP test and charge you $50,000 and send you on your way. Be cheaper for us. $50,000, that'd be cheaper for y'all too. Right, guys? Use the resources. They're here to help. Any other questions? We are kind of done. Jessica, anything you want to add? You guys have any questions for us? We did awesome. No question. We told you everything you had to know in your whole life. Thank you for being here, and thanks for letting us come. Appreciate it.
Don't really gotta do the designer sheet? The evaluation? What you mean don't live? Don't live. Don't go. Do that. Forget the evaluations, wait, tell them stop.